This place was once described as the biggest and loveliest of all cities. So why is it that today so few people have ever heard of Plovdiv? On this week's programme, we uncover the past in one of the ancient world's best-kept secrets. 30,000 people would have packed into these stands to come and see chariot races and discus and javelin throwing competitions. We head to Iceland to go deep inside a volcano.
Can't see the bottom.
No.
There's news of a groundbreaking arts festival in Manhattan. And we'll take you on a 60-second stopover in Rome. Hello and welcome to The Travel Show, coming this week from Plovdiv in Bulgaria. Now, you might be forgiven for thinking it looks like Rome or Athens, but those cities are infants compared to this place, which has a pretty good claim on being the oldest city in Europe. The question is, can Plovdiv use this ancient history to bring new life to its streets? On ground level, you might be forgiven for thinking that Plovdiv is a fairly ordinary town. Underneath the streets, however, it's a different story. This place has been occupied by humans for over 8,000 years, with the remains of different eras stacked one on top of the other like pancakes. I've come to a dig that's turning up traces of those who lived here around 2,000 years ago. I'm standing in the middle of modern-day Plovdiv, but in fact this place was also the heart of the ancient city of Philippopolis, which at the height of the Roman Empire had a population of over 100,000. Overseeing the excavations is head archaeologist Elena Kezyukova.
We hope to discover and uncover the shops that have been on the west side of the square, as well as the main wall that was protecting the western side.
2,000 years ago, ancient Philippopolis sat right in the heart of a region called Thrace. And to the Thracians, the city was a pretty big deal.
What Athens is for ancient Greece and what Rome is for the Italians, Philippopolis is for the Thracians.
All right, oh, my turn. Let's go. So I brush very gently, get rid of all these bits of loose dirt. Am I doing a good job? So we've just been cleaning up what is a fireplace, which would have been in the middle of a shop, in the middle of the forum. But the interesting thing about this fireplace was it wasn't just where you would toast your bread or make your dinner, it was where people would make offerings to their gods as well. And it's kind of pretty crazy to discover this in the middle of a modern city. Excavations have uncovered extensive evidence of Plovdiv's glorious past. This is Plovdiv's ancient Roman stadium, and up to 30,000 people would have packed into these stands to come and see chariot races and discus and javelin throwing competitions. Today it still draws crowds, but they're mainly here to see the ruins themselves. Stefan Stoyanov is Plovdiv's deputy mayor and believes sites like this may be a key to the city's future.
These stones are around 2,000 years old, and it's very important to make attraction here on this place and to popularize it.
The plan seems to be working. Figures showed a 20% increase in the number of visitors to Plovdiv in the first 6 months of 2014.
Archaeology is really important for the city, and especially for the tourism. because we have really unique attractions here, and we're trying to develop it every year.
It's clear that these Roman sites can be a huge draw for the city, but not everyone is pleased with how they're being developed. Krasimir and Luca fears that in their haste to reveal the popular Roman-era layers of the city, the digs are losing vital discoveries relating to later periods.
It's this order given by the municipality to finish fast with the site. This is not an archaeological way to uncover the past. It must be done because when you destroy it, it's lost forever.
But at the Forum dig, Elena strongly defends their practices.
We've
got a full documentation for all uncovered walls with their profiles, cross-sections. Nothing's going to get lost.
And Plovdiv doesn't just want visitors to come and look at its history. They want the ancient sites to play an active part in city life. Crowds have gathered for the annual Plovdiv International Folk Festival at the restored Roman Theatre.
It's kind of brilliant to see this place being used to entertain the masses, just like it was intended to nearly 2,000 years ago.
If town planners have their way, even more ancient sites will soon be opened up for public use across the city. And they have their fingers crossed that in the future, everyone will finally recognise the name of Plovdiv.
If you're thinking of coming to Bulgaria, here's some information you might find useful.
If you're planning to venture off the beaten track in Bulgaria, you might be surprised by the contrast between urban and rural areas. While the cities are comparable with many others you'll find across Central Europe, development in the rural areas has happened at a far slower pace. Don't rule out a trip into the countryside, but do allow more time and expect to have to rough it occasionally if you do decide to go rural. Ever found yourself making up sign language to communicate in a country where you don't know the language? Well, beware in Bulgaria, because it's one of just a few countries where a nod of the head means no and a shake means yes. To confuse things further, locals keen to accommodate foreigners have been known to reverse this, so just remember that da means yes. Getting around in Bulgaria can be a little more difficult than in some other destinations. Road signs are mainly written using the Cyrillic alphabet, and some roads are not very well maintained, so public transport is often the best option. Buses can also be a little difficult to navigate, so try train and tram travel to take you where you need to go, but do think about booking ahead for the trains. And finally, if you love roses, then Bulgaria is the place for you. The country produces most of the world's rose oil, and you'll find roses celebrated everywhere here. If you're booking for June, look out for the Rose Festival in Kazanlak, and you might just find yourself picking roses at dawn with the locals. Time now to take a look at what else is happening in travel this week. We start this week in the UK, where there are new theories about one of its oldest and most mysterious attractions. A dry British summer and a faulty hosepipe have revealed markings that suggest Stonehenge was once a complete circle. For years, scientists have argued over whether it was supposed to be the horseshoe shape that stands there today. Over to Cuba, where there's a brand new list of restricted items for people arriving onto the island. The communist government there says it's to stop professional mules importing lots of high-end consumer goods from the States. In recent years, Havana Airport's luggage belts have been heaving with huge amounts of bulky luxuries, thanks to looser customs rules. Before you go, make sure you check the new list, though if you're just carrying normal holiday luggage, you should be okay. And how lovely are enchiladas? What they need is some sort of specialist festival. Well, wouldn't you know it, Mexico City has had the same thought. People there have been busy celebrating the Enchilada Gastronomy Festival this week. As part of celebrations, they made one which broke records. At 85 metres long, it was filled with seafood, plantain and bucket loads of sauce.
Coming up on the Travel Show.
Michelle's here with her global guide to the best things to see and do around the world, and we head to Iceland to explore the depths of a volcano.
And you can see how the colours are changing here. You see more yellow and orange, and that's because of sulfur.
So, see you after the break. The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Hello, I'm Michelle Yanachan, your global guide with top tips on the world's best events in the coming month. From a star-studded Malawi to shining lights in Sweden. But first, it's the 20th anniversary of Heritage Open Days in the UK. From September 11th through 14th, you'll be able to look behind closed doors at thousands of heritage sites across the country, from castles and monuments to gardens and art venues. It's free of charge and forms part of European Heritage Days, which is held annually in September across the continent, highlighting local skills and traditions. In Italy on October 12th, the Barcolana is Europe's biggest sailing event, with more than 2,000 boats jostling in the Gulf of Trieste. It's the only regatta in the world to set a single start line for so many yachts. All kinds of monohull sailboats participate, with beginners pitted against professional racing teams. The event will cap a week of races, which include competitions for teenagers, as well as sailors with disabilities. If you prefer to stay on dry land, Australia's capital is celebrating Floriade for 30 days from September 14th, the country's greatest flower festival. The best viewing is in Canberra's parks and gardens, but visitors can follow the Floriade Trail among galleries and monuments. From September 24th, there is 5 nights of light shows, live music, comedy and DJs. Staying in Australia, the Torres Strait Cultural Festival begins September 16th. Held every 2 years on Thursday Island, There's a street parade and sporting events, but the greatest draw will be the cultural activities, as the indigenous Torres Strait Islanders are known for their artistic talents and handicraft skills. On September 20th, the landmark Canadian Museum for Human Rights launches in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The opening weekend will include Rights Fest, a 2-day celebration with themed performances. There'll also be a preview tour through the museum, offering an insight into its digital collection of oral histories, interactive exhibits and artwork. For a different kind of digital, in New York City in the US, the Dumbo Arts Festival begins September 26th. It's a weekend of indoor and outdoor visual art installations, digital art and large-scale projections, as well as a chance to watch dancers, poets and artists making murals on the street. Outdoor projections will be on view through midnight on all 3 nights, and it's free to the public, centred in Brooklyn and overlooking the Manhattan skyline. Here's another reason to stay up late on the African continent. Returning to the shores of Lake Malawi, the Lake of Stars Festival begins September 26th. 3 days of music and art. Last year it happened in the Malawian capital, Lilongwe, but the out-of-town, laid-back beat returns in 2014 with local musicians mingling with international DJs and live acts. There'll be a different kind of rhythm in Sweden outside Gothenburg, where Lights in Alangsås begins on September 27th. It's a colourful, cutting-edge outdoor exhibition of lights with tens of thousands of spectators, which lasts over a month until November 3rd. This year, lighting designers will interpret the music of Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. That's my global guide this month. Let me know what's happening in the place where you live or where you love. We're on Facebook, Twitter and email. Until next time, happy travelling.
Now, Iceland is a country that's very much been in the news recently because of renewed activity at the Badabunga volcano. If you were watching last week, you'll remember Joe Worley meeting Icelanders whose lives were turned upside down when another volcano erupted on the Westman Islands 40 years ago. This week, she travels to a spot close to the capital, Reykjavik, to look deep inside a truly amazing geological wonder.
Iceland is a volcanic hotspot. The whole country has been formed by millions of years of eruptions, and you only have to drive a short distance from the capital Reykjavik to see the impact.
Thousands of years ago, a river of lava blasted through here, leaving these massive holes in the ground. And in every direction, as far as the eye can see, are lumps of this stuff where it solidified.
You can find lava fields like this in other eruption sites around the world. But one of the peaks here is different to any other. It's the only place where you can actually see inside the heart of a volcano.
And that's the one that's erupted most recently?
Yeah, the little one over there.
Yeah.
Bjorn climbs up the side of this volcano every day and encourages sometimes apprehensive tourists to walk the plank.
So, I need to touch you here.
Yep.
And I'll go first. And and you walk over to me, I will touch you to another rope.
The volcano is dormant and hasn't erupted for 4,000 years. And the experts here say it will be many thousands of years more before it erupts again. I certainly hope they're right.
I can't see the bottom.
No?
I'm not normally scared of heights, but it is a little daunting to see a deep, dark pit stretching beneath us.
We go a little bit slower here through the narrowing.
The gantry squeezes past a narrow opening in the rock. Once we're through, I can see how huge the cavern is. At 120 metres deep, you could fit the Statue of Liberty in here. The raindrops seem to fall in slow motion.
And this is the lava?
Yeah, this is the lava. Here was magma going up and down.
The walls are splashed with colour where molten rock clung to the surface during the last hours of the eruption.
And you can see how the colours are changing here. You see more yellow and orange, and that's because of sulfur.
So why can we be in here? Where did all the magma go?
Kind of a mystery, but for some reason all the lava or all the magma drained out. And under normal circumstances this would collapse, but it didn't. Probably because of the shape of it or the structure. We have strong layers of rocks here on the way down. So we're getting to the bottom here.
The logistics of getting down here mean a ticket isn't cheap. A tour costs $320 and you can only get here from May until September. The rest of the year it's too snowy. It's not just adventure travellers who've been coming here. People have been asking to hire the volcano out for private events.
What's the weirdest request you've had?
Well, we get all kinds of weird requests. We get, we have several requests about the bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping here?
Yeah.
Do they have any idea of the rocks at the bottom of here?
No, and also the top part of the crater is not straight, so it's like an S-curved. So it could be quite risky to find the spot that you could drop in a straight line. So we haven't allowed that either. Could be messy for us to clean everything up.
This place is absolutely incredible, and if you've got enough cash you can have it all to yourself. They've had requests from people who want to get married down here. They've said no to that, but there are plans for it to become a concert venue.
This local choir agreed to a travel show exclusive to be the first group to perform in a volcano ever. It's an eerily beautiful sound.
Well, that's it for this week, and here's what's coming up on next week's programme. I'll be heading to Denmark, which is apparently the happiest country in the world.
It's really good.
They are very good at just appreciating what they have, not worrying about the big stuff, but you open a bottle of red wine, you light some candles, you'll have a happy Dane.
So do join us then if you can. And in the meantime, don't forget you can keep up with us while we're out on the road in real time by signing up to our social media feeds. Details are on the screen now, or you can raid our travel show archive by logging on to bbc.com/travel show. But for now, from me, Crystal Larwood, and the rest of the travel show team here in Plovdiv, it's goodbye.